Anyone who's been the star of their own public humiliation, witnessed by the entire school, knows the feeling. It's not just mortifying, it's suffocating. Especially when every single embarrassing photo flashing across the big screen is of you, right down to that one, your Peppa Pig pajamas, blown up to the size of the entire wall. The crowd erupted in laughter, with people catcalling, recording it on their phones, and someone even shouting through the chaos. Was it her boyfriend? Any other girlfriend would have probably lost it right then and there, but Olivia just gave a small nod, her eyes cutting through the crowd to find mine. Then she said softly, "My boyfriend is a very sweet and shy person, the best in the world. What happened today was probably a prank by someone who has a problem with him. As for who, I'll find out eventually." With just a few simple words, she shifted all the blame from me to herself, even asking everyone to come after her if they were upset. Everyone thought she was just some love-struck fool, but they didn't know the truth. She was used to taking the fall for everyone. It was just who she was. Someone had snapped a photo of me hugging my sister and posted it on the campus forum. In the comments, everyone was frantically tagging my girlfriend. The comments were all the same. "You're so screwed, your boyfriend is going to dump you." Just when everyone was waiting for her to fly into a rage, she replied with a simple, calm comment. "So what? Other people might be roadside motels, but I'm his safe harbor." My sister and I were squatting under a tree, shivering as we each ate an ice cream cone. She'd been dumped again, and she had that on-the-verge-of-tears look on her face. "Lucas, love is such a weird, complicated thing." This was the 8th time she'd come crying to me about this exact issue. The guy was the same one it had always been, her first love. They were constantly breaking up and getting back together like they were in their own personal soap opera. The main problem was that his dad absolutely refused to approve of my sister, thinking she was flighty and not serious enough. "To be blunt, it's because you're an idiot," I told her. In his eyes, you don't have a single trait of a traditional, wifely type. She just looked down and didn't say a word. My sister, Mia, puts on this tough act like she's some kind of heartbreaker. But I know her too well. Deep down, she's timid and has a soft heart. She started hanging out at bars almost every night. It was all because she'd heard her first love liked to drink, so she decided to learn how to be a bartender. Then one night, the bar got raided by the cops. Mia was hauled off with a bunch of other people. The rumor mill went into overdrive, and before we knew it, people had invented a whole backstory about her serving years in prison. We were in the middle of talking about all this drama when her phone buzzed. It was a message from him. "Mia, we need to talk." The color drained from her face. "What does that mean?" she panicked. "Is he going to cut me off completely? Does this mean we can't even be friends?" Seriously, all he said was that they needed to talk, and she was already a complete wreck. I really didn't want to admit this mess was my sister. I tried to push myself up, but I've been squatting for so long my legs were completely asleep. On instinct, I grabbed onto Mia to keep myself from falling over. I thought I heard a click like the shutter of a camera, but I figured I must have been mistaken. I gave her shoulder a reassuring pat. Mia walked off looking completely dejected, like she was marching to her own execution. That night, I got back to my dorm room to find my roommate, Jerry, yelling, "Lucas, you're famous. You're all over the campus forum, man," he shouted. "You got to see this, it's blowing up." Completely confused, I pulled out my phone. The first thing I saw was a huge headline, "Spotted by the lake this afternoon. A couple in love who just couldn't let go." The photo below, it was that exact moment I grabbed onto Mia. Jerry leaned in closer. "Lucas, don't you have a girlfriend?" he asked, pointing the picture. "So who's this?" I kept scrolling through the comments. "Hey, that guy looks familiar. Isn't that Lucas from the architecture department?" I thought his girlfriend was that gorgeous senior, Olivia. I sensed some major drama about to go down. Then some busybody who loved stirring the pot tagged her directly. "At Olivia Carter, you need to see this. You're so screwed, your boyfriend is going to dump you." That comment was followed by a flood of others. Countless people had copied and pasted the same line, spamming the thread. In minutes, the post was the #1 trending topic on the forum. "Can everyone please get a grip?" I typed, "That's my sister. My actual sister. Besides, Isn't it illegal to take photos of people without their permission and post them online without blurring their faces? I frantically searched for an old photo of Mia and me as kids, holding the same teddy bear. I was just about to post it to clear my name, but then I stopped. I had to call Olivia and explain things first. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through my contacts for her name. Just then, a notification for a new post popped up on my screen. The author was Olivia. The title was, "A Good Woman Never Has to Ask. Others might be roadside motels, but I'm your safe harbor," it read. "As long as you come home to me in the end, that's all that matters." The second she posted it, the forum absolutely exploded. Jerry put his phone down and shot me a thumbs up. "Don't congratulate me just yet," I said. Just then my phone rang. It was Olivia. My stomach dropped as I answered. Her soft voice drifted through the speaker. "Lucas, you don't have to explain anything," she said calmly. "A smart woman never pries. I saw in the picture that you were holding a taro-flavored ice cream," she continued. "So I bought you 3 cases. Why don't you come down and get them? And what flavor does the girl with you like? I'll bring some for her next time, too." That was just the kind of person Olivia was, magnanimous to a fault. A classic case of never judging a book by its cover. She was still on the line, waiting quietly for my answer. "Okay, I'm on my way," I said, while frantically texting Mia. "Mia, it's your lucky day. What flavor of ice cream do you want?" My sister sent back a sticker of a very depressed-looking Peppa Pig. "I want to eat dirt." "Get lost. You can't eat that," I typed back. A second later, another message came through. "He's breaking up with me. I want to take the whole world down with me." So dramatic. "Fine, go eat dirt then," I replied to her. I thought for a second and then said to Olivia on the phone, "How about chocolate flavor?" Beside me, Jerry was blatantly listening in. His eyes lit up again as he gave me another thumbs up, a look of pure disbelief on his face that I was actually placing an order for the other woman. Olivia was quiet for a second on the other end. Then she let out a small laugh. "Okay, I'll go buy it now," she said. "Come downstairs to get it." What was there to say? She wasn't angry in the slightest, nor did she freak out and make a scene like most people would. When it came to the traditional standards of a perfect, supportive partner, she'd score a 10 out of 10. I was putting on my shoes to head downstairs when a new friend request popped up on my phone. The note attached said, "Want to know Olivia's secret?" Without a second thought, I hit accept. The person didn't say anything. Their profile picture was blank, and their Facebook feed was completely private. Could it be an ex-boyfriend? Or maybe someone who held a grudge against Olivia? Or was it a debt collector? What was going on? What did this person want? By the time I stepped out of the dorm, they still hadn't sent a message. I idly scrolled through the campus forum again. The entire feed was filled with comments about Olivia. "This girl is way too in love with him. People this love-struck shouldn't be allowed online. Someone get her off the internet. She's so devoted it's killing me." Olivia was standing in the open area in front of my dorm, holding several large insulated bags. Under the lamplight, her long hair looked impossibly smooth, the kind you can tell is perfectly maintained. Every time I saw her, Olivia was impeccably dressed, looking as crisp and fresh as if she'd just stepped out of a magazine. "Have you been waiting long?" I asked. "No, I just got here," she said. But I saw the faint sheen of sweat on her forehead and knew she was lying. I was trying to figure out how to start explaining the whole situation when I looked up and saw her smiling at me. She was wearing a simple white dress that was tailored perfectly, outlining her narrow waist and long legs. Her figure was so slender and graceful, it was almost unreal. Her smile sent a jolt right through my chest. She really was stunningly beautiful. It was no wonder she was always on the campus beauties list. She used to be famous for her looks. Now, she was famous for being hopelessly in love. Still, getting famous for that reason alone was a skill in itself. You had to hand it to her. I had just raised my hand to her shoulder, about to speak, when a figure shot out from a dark corner like a pouncing monkey, scaring the hell out of me. It was my sister, Mia, who had appeared out of nowhere. "What am I going to do?" she wailed. "I'm so miserable. I feel like my heart is shriveling up." She was wearing a ridiculously loud Hawaiian shirt and was clinging to me like a spider monkey, her face a mess of tears and snot. It wasn't a monkey. It was my sister. Though at that moment, I would have preferred the monkey. My idiot sister. Every single breakup was a full-blown meltdown, and then she'd be right back with him the next day. What was this emotional game of tug-of-war they were playing? Did they have some kind of annual breakup quota to meet? It was like when our mom was pregnant, she gave all the brain power to me and left me with a shrunken-down spare part. All right, stop crying, I said, trying to console her. There's ice cream. Olivia glanced down at my hand, which was still holding hers. Her expression darkened, and I saw her jaw tighten. She opened one of the insulated bags and, without looking up, pulled out an ice cream bar and held it out to Mia. This is for you. Mia snatched it from her hand. Thanks, you're so nice. You're welcome, Olivia replied. Whoa, this is that crazy expensive, handmade ice cream. Mia took a bite and gasped. My sister just stared at the ice cream, sucking in a sharp breath. Olivia's face remained blank, but I saw her hand clench into a fist. Olivia forced a smile. There are several more bags here, she said. I have plenty of money. I'm prettier than you, and I have more hair than you. From now on, if you want something, you don't have to go through Lucas, she continued. You can just come straight to me. Wow, Mia said. You're so generous. My mom always taught Mia to look out for her little brother. It had been that way our whole lives. Whenever Mia got something good, her first instinct was to smile and offer it to me. So, after she tore open the wrapper, she instinctively held the ice cream out to me. Just as instinctively, I took it. We shared a natural, easy smile. What a great sister, I thought. A total wreck from her breakup and still thinking of me first. But as soon as I put the ice cream in my mouth, I felt a sudden shift in the air. I looked up, and sure enough, Olivia was staring at me, unblinking. Her lips were pressed into a thin, hard line, and the color was slowly draining from her face. No, wait, let me explain. I started, but she cut me off, forcing another smile. It's all right, Lucas, as long as you're happy. I don't mind how many other people you like, she said, her voice low and tinged with sadness. As long as you can save a little space in your heart for me, I'll be happy. You can check into as many roadside motels as you want, as long as, in the end, you're willing to come back to my safe harbor. It's not like I've ever done that much for you anyway. It's only natural that you don't really care about me. It's my fault for not being good enough. I don't want anything for myself. I just want you to be happy. I was completely frozen. My sister was frozen too. The expensive ice cream fell from my hand and splattered on the pavement. For a second, the pattern it made looked like it spelled out the words, hopelessly devoted. Those few sentences were so powerfully devoted, they could have made her the guru for every heartbroken soul in history. I completely forgot about the expensive ice cream on the ground. All I could think was, crap, I made my girl cry. I grabbed Mia's head and turned her face towards Olivia. Look closely, I said. Our faces are practically identical. She's my sister, my actual biological sister. Olivia just blinked, looking at Mia's tall frame. Was it possible she was so tall it had stunted her brain's development? I had to keep going. Look, the nose, the eyes, they're the same. We're siblings. Mia snorted. My eyes are way better than his. Thank you very much. If I didn't clear this up right now, who knew how long Olivia would keep up this heartbreaking performance? Pay attention, I said firmly. This woman's name is Mia Reed. My name is Lucas Reed. We have the same mom and dad, you get it. I have a girlfriend. Why would I be hugging some other girl? You're gorgeous, and you buy me ridiculously expensive ice cream. I'd have to be brain dead to go fooling around in some roadside motel. A minute ago, I almost fell, and my sister just caught me. That's it. Olivia stared for a second. Then a spark of light appeared in her dark eyes. She was the type who always owned her mistakes. She immediately gave my sister a deep bow. I'm so sorry, my future sister-in-law, she said. I completely misunderstood. Please, take all of this ice cream. Tomorrow, I'll buy you 10 more cases to make it up to you. She sounded completely sincere. Then she gently took my hand. And don't worry, I won't cling to you. I'll just go die quietly by myself. Who makes a vow like that? I didn't want to hear any more of this. This silly girl was acting like I had cast some kind of spell on her, the kind that made her think she couldn't marry anyone else. Mia, listening from the side, looked completely bewildered. Finally, She slowly gave me a big thumbs up. Mia and I had fought our entire lives. We argued and bickered constantly, but we were also incredibly close. So I knew exactly what that look on her face meant. That's my little brother, she was thinking. Asterisk, he actually has his girlfriend so wrapped around his finger. He's a role model for guys everywhere. Asterisk, I gave her a mental shrug. What can I say? Later that night, as I was lying in bed, I got a text from Mia. It was a single word, legend. It had the exact same vibe as the thumbs up Jerry had given me earlier. I found a photo of Mia and me and posted it on the forum to set the record straight. Everybody, this is my sister, I wrote. We came out of the same womb, just 2 years apart. We couldn't possibly be more related. If you still don't believe me, I'm ready to post our mom's old ultrasound scans. My roommate Jerry, who lives for the drama, immediately piped up. So, how did you and Olivia meet, anyway? Olivia and I first met in the hospital. This was before her hopelessly devoted phase had been unlocked. Back then, I just thought she was an incredibly sweet girl. Looking back now, it was more like she had a people-pleasing personality. I'd heard her family had been in a car accident. She was the only one who survived. And it happened right after her family had received a huge compensation payout for their property. They never even got a chance to enjoy their new life. They were just gone. Meanwhile, my own family was a mess. My sister and my mom had ordered some foraged mushrooms online from someplace in Oregon, and both ended up with severe food poisoning. They spent days at home, tripping out and hallucinating around the clock. And my dad? He'd gotten obsessed with cycling and had to show off some pro-level trick for me. Of course, he completely wiped out. He ended up in the hospital with a fractured right foot, leaving me as the only functional adult in the entire household. During that time, I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Olivia was in the hospital bed right next to my dad's. She was painfully thin like a stick. She would just sit on the edge of her bed, not saying a word, looking so fragile you'd think a single touch could break her. I felt bad for her, so I started helping out, tidying up around her bed and buying her fruit. When I brought my dad his meals, I'd always bring an extra for her. Hey neighbor, I'd say, got some beef stew for you today. Gradually, she started to crack a small smile whenever my dad and I were talking. One day, I walked over to her bed. Hey Olivia, are you a library book? Because I can't stop checking you out. She just stared at me blankly with a total, who are you and what are you saying look on her face. But she still played along. Then you should probably stay out of the freezer section. Because I've been thinking about you nonstop, I added. She stared for another second, and then she let out a soft, genuine laugh. It was the first time I'd seen her really smile. She had just gotten a cast off her leg. When she laughed, her long, thick eyelashes fluttered like tiny fans, and it felt like they were fanning a spark right in my chest. All I had wanted to do was cheer her up, but somehow I was the one whose heart started doing somersaults. In the end, she was the one who asked me out first. I played it cool, pretending to be shy. I told her I had to think about it, and I made the poor girl wait a full 25 minutes before I finally said yes. The day after I posted that clarification on the forum, Olivia and I were having breakfast together. She had arranged the donuts perfectly on a plate and carefully added sugar to my coffee, waiting until it was the perfect temperature before sliding it over to me. I took a big gulp. Perfect. Just then my phone buzzed. It was from that anonymous account that had added me yesterday. It sent a blurry, old photograph. The background was a run-down dirt road, like something out in the middle of nowhere. In the photo, a tall, skinny kid was running, covering their face. The person looked a lot like Olivia, but this version of her was covered in dirt, wearing cheap, frumpy clothes. It was a world away from the elegant, put-together Olivia I knew now. They looked like two different people, and it looked like her pants were ripped wide open, with half of her but showing. I zoomed in on the picture. Was this thing even real? It was a little much for first thing in the morning. Then another message came through. This is what Olivia used to look like. Total country bumpkin, right? So poor she had to wear ripped pants to school. Couldn't even cover her own ass. Watching her run home holding her pants together was hilarious. The short message had at least 5 spelling errors. The mockery was thick, and so was the reek of ignorance. I clicked on his profile and saw his latest Facebook post. Single guy, Vox school grad. Why is it so hard to find a good wife? The accompanying photo was of a man's hand, dirt caked under the nails, holding a scoop of chicken feed. Even through the screen, I could smell the sour stench of jealousy. There are always people in this world who can't stand to see someone else succeed, especially someone who started from the same place they did. I looked up at Olivia, who was sitting across from me. She was wearing a crisp white shirt, the sleeves rolled up just so, revealing her slender wrists and elegant fingers. She looked so effortlessly beautiful it was hard to look away. "That's a really nice shirt," I said, unable to stop myself. The tips of her ears turned bright red. "I wore it on purpose," she said. "I saw you liked that TikTok of the model who was wearing a white shirt, so that was why." I had just assumed she was dressed up because she was giving a speech to the incoming freshmen as a mentor later. I quickly typed a reply to the blackmailer. "Nice ass, bro." The person on the other end was silent for a few seconds. Then, not giving up, they sent a few more photos. I took one look and immediately sat bolt upright. The photos showed an even younger, shabbily dressed Olivia, surrounded by other kids, getting beaten up. Her clothes were covered in dirt and footprints. "Isn't she giving a speech today?" The next message read. "I got someone on the inside. Some big shot campus goddess. I'm gonna let the whole school see what a loser she really is." "LOL," I replied. "You have 11 spelling and grammar mistakes in those 2 sentences. Venmo me $50 and I'll edit it for you." The auditorium was completely packed. Olivia was on stage, calm and collected, earning a round of applause after every section of her speech. Behind her, a PowerPoint about the school's history was playing. Suddenly, the presentation froze. My heart sank. This was it. That jerk had said he wanted everyone to see that picture of Olivia. He must have hacked the PowerPoint file. The nerve of that guy. Only I was allowed to see Olivia's butt. The screen stuttered, frozen. Olivia's voice trailed off. My heart was pounding in my chest. In the few seconds of dead air, the audience started whispering among themselves. I'd already called Mia and asked her to be on standby. Don't let her tattoos and constant Hawaiian shirts fool you into thinking she's just a slacker. My sister is a master's student in electrical and computer engineering. Hijacking a simple PowerPoint presentation would be child's play for her. The murmuring in the crowd grew louder. I thought my heart was going to burst. Had something gone wrong? Did Mia not manage to stop it in time? Thankfully, the slideshow started moving again. But what appeared on the screen made me freeze in my seat. A gigantic picture of my own face was plastered across the screen. I was so mortified I could feel my toes curling inside my shoes. Then, one by one, a series of photos began to flash across the screen. I forgot to mention, Mia's biggest hobby is photography, and her absolute favorite subject to photograph is me. Specifically, she uses me to build her personal library of meme-worthy reaction shots. Just then, a message from Mia popped up on my phone. Oops, my hand slipped. I gripped my phone so tightly I thought it would crack. I texted back, "Mia, as of today, we are no longer related." In that single moment, I experienced the most exquisite form of human torture, public humiliation. A photo of me in my Peppa Pig pajamas, mouth agape, and eyes wide, flashed across the screen. The audience erupted in laughter. "Hey, isn't that Lucas Reed?" someone shouted. "The guy from the forum. And that girl on stage looks really familiar, too." The hopelessly devoted goddess and the master of public humiliation. Is anyone at this school normal? The comments were loud and grating. I was so furious and embarrassed, I just squeezed my eyes shut, wishing the world would just end. I seriously want to pull out a gun and say goodnight to everyone. I got my feet, my legs shaking. Images of flipping tables, smashing chairs, and storming the stage flashed through my mind. If I was going down, I might as well go down in flames and take everyone with me. It seemed like a great idea. A dangerous glint probably flashed in my eyes. But then a soft cough from the stage cut through my rage. Olivia reached over and turned off the projector. The screen went black. She cleared her throat softly, and the entire auditorium fell silent. She looked a little flustered herself, but she quickly composed herself. I'm so sorry, everyone, she said, her voice gentle but firm. It seems we're having some technical difficulties. Someone in the crowd yelled out, "Was it your boyfriend?" Without missing a beat, Olivia nodded, her eyes finding mine through the sea of faces. The crowd was gearing up for another wave of laughter, but she cut them off. I felt like I could never show my face in public again and was about to make a run for it. But Olivia's soft voice rooted me to the spot. "I'm sorry for wasting your time," she said. "My boyfriend is a very sweet and shy person. He's the best person in the world. What happened today was most likely a prank by someone who has a problem with him." Her voice suddenly turned sharp and cold. "As for who that person is," she said, "I will find out." I could just imagine Mia shivering in some corner backstage. I've covered most of what I wanted to say today anyway. So could I please ask you all a favor? Could we just pretend this prank never happened? And I have one more small request. Please don't give him a hard time over this. If you really feel the need to make fun of someone, aim it at me. I can handle it. That night, the top post on the campus forum read, "I'm dying. I just got force-fed the most romantic moment ever at the freshman assembly. Who knew you could still witness this kind of true love in person? I'm shipping them so hard my phone is shaking. Let them have their fun. People will ship any two things these days." I knew Olivia came from a wealthy family. Before she had even graduated, she'd already bought 3 houses near campus. But she never, ever talked about her past, other than to say her parents had died in a car accident. I never dared to press her for details, afraid I'd say something that would bring up painful memories. But this was different. I'm a pretty direct person. I pulled up the chat history and showed it to her. "Who is this?" I asked. "They seem pretty obsessed with you." When Olivia saw the photos, she just froze. Her eyes widened, and her pupils constricted. She looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole. "Already blocked the number," I told her. The screen was frozen on the person's last, furious message. If her family hadn't gotten rich overnight from that demolition payout, you think she'd be anything today? So that was it. Olivia's family used to be poor. In fact, they were the poorest family in their entire town. Because she was a good student and pretty, she was a constant target for bullies. Kids would gang up on her all the time. She tried fighting back at first, but that only made the bullying worse. And the adults in town? They just dismissed it all as kids being kids. She tried everything to make it stop. The only thing that worked was to become a people-pleasing doormat. So she started deliberately playing the part of the nice, agreeable girl who never caused trouble. The girl who said yes to everything. Then, one day, the nightmare ended. The entire area was slated for redevelopment, and everyone was thrilled about the compensation packages. Except for one family. They refused to move, demanding an outrageous sum of money. The developers got fed up and just built around their property, leaving them completely isolated. From then on, that family was filled with resentment, lashing out and causing trouble for everyone. They tried to go after Olivia again, but by then, nobody had any time for their pathetic antics. She had never told anyone about this dark part of her past. I listened, my eyes wide, as all the pieces in my head suddenly clicked together. A difficult childhood filled with insecurity and bullying, topped off with immense family trauma. It all added up. It was almost inevitable that she would become someone who was starved for affection. So that was it. It all made perfect sense now. She was ashamed of her family's new money origins, worried that I'd look down on her because of where the money came from. She was afraid I'd think she was weak for not fighting back when she was bullied, that I'd see her as just a lonely orphan who didn't know how to love properly. That's why she tried so desperately to be good to everyone, even if it meant debasing herself. I looked up at her, and she immediately sat up straight and began to explain frantically. But I'm totally different now. I go to the gym, I can fight. I could take on 10 guys. I don't smoke, I don't drink. I'm a fast learner. I could buy you anything you want, anything. I reached out and gently touched the tip of her bright red ear. "So your family got a big payout, huh? That's awesome." She looked at me. "Lucas, first I was bullied for being poor. Then I was targeted out of jealousy for having money. People are just like that," she said. "They always want to tear down anyone who doesn't fit into their neat little boxes. But what does it have to do with them? It's always the people whose own lives are a mess who love to tell everyone else what to do, I said. They can't manage their own business, but they're experts on how you should live your life. Olivia took a sip of water, her hand still trembling slightly. I'm just so scared you're going to leave me, she whispered. I'll do anything. I can change into whatever you want me to be. I'm so used to being left behind. That's why I always try to make everyone happy, to put everyone else's needs before my own. I thought if I was just agreeable enough, people would like me more. This poor girl. She had been carrying all this pain inside her for so long. I suddenly felt this overwhelming urge to protect her, like a mother hen with her chick. I just wanted to wrap my arms around her and keep her safe. You're such a kind and thoughtful person, I said. But you need to save some of that kindness for yourself. No one is more important than you are. You don't have to spend your life wondering if you're good enough. Your kindness should be your armor, not a weapon you turn against yourself. You don't have to please anyone. Just being you is more than enough. Her past never taught her how to love, and no one else had either. So I decided I would. I spent that entire night talking to her, saying the same things over and over in a dozen different ways, until I felt like my brain was completely drained. By the time the sun came up, my voice was hoarse. I asked if she understood. Olivia rubbed her head against my hand. I understand, she said. From now on, I only have to please you. It was like I hadn't said a word. She hadn't heard a thing. After that whole mess with the presentation, we became campus celebrities. People would stop us constantly on campus just to say hi. All I could do was blush and nod, which felt like a whole new level of public humiliation. Still, there was someone even more embarrassed than me. As I was walking past the lake, I saw a crowd of people gathered in a circle. In the center of the circle was someone, face beet red, doing that unbelievably cringy dinosaur dance from TikTok. Who would be desperate enough for attention to do that? Oh, right. It was my sister. Her long arms and legs were flailing around, completely out of sync. As revenge for my public humiliation in the auditorium, I had tricked Mia. I told her that if she did that ridiculous dinosaur dance in the middle of campus for 1 hour, I would teach her the secret to making her boyfriend as devoted to her as Olivia was to me. And she actually believed me. My sweet, simple-minded sister. The second she saw me, she grabbed my arm and yanked me into the circle. Come on, little bro, dance with your sister. I immediately tried to pull away, but Mia gritted her teeth. Lucas, dance with me, and I'll give you $2,000. Before I could escape, Olivia grabbed me from the other side. 20,000, she said. He's not dancing. I knew she had money, but this was ridiculous. I had no choice but to whisper to Olivia, seriously, how much did your family get from that payout? She scratched her nose. Around 6 million, I think. My jaw nearly hit the pavement. How much? She got nervous again. What? Is that not a lot? I grabbed her hand. Please, I begged. Use your money. Pay someone to take Mia and drop her off with some cult deep in the woods. I don't care how you do it. My sister started screaming a string of profanities so foul they could knock a person out. Olivia just frowned thoughtfully. Well, if we're talking about connections, I might know a few people. We might bicker, but we never stayed mad at each other. After breaking up and getting back together more times than I could count, Mia and her boyfriend, Liam, were officially on again. They were so happy they invited us all out to dinner. It was the first time I'd officially met Liam, the guy who had been driving my sister crazy for years. Their pattern of having a small fight every 3 days and a major breakup every 5 had become their standard operating procedure. The truth about that whole incident at the bar had come out a long time ago. I wasn't sure where things stood between them now, but I knew one thing the second I saw Liam. The guy was ridiculously good-looking. A handsome, successful guy who wasn't afraid to speak his mind. Even I was a little bit smitten. I pulled him aside quietly. You're right to think my sister isn't good enough for you, I told him. She doesn't deserve you. If she ever gives you any trouble, you have to let me know. I got completely wasted that night. Olivia took care of everything, making my bed, getting me honey water, and finding some medicine for my hangover. As she leaned over to tuck the covers around me, my eyes followed the line of her collar, from her delicate collarbones down to the curve of her chest. Woman, you're tempting me, I thought, and pulled her down onto the bed with me. The next time I opened my eyes, it was noon. I felt great, just a little sore. Are you okay? Olivia asked immediately. Was I not good enough? I could try harder. I can learn. That self-awareness was great, but I wish she'd stop applying it to our relationship. I rested my head on her shoulder. Olivia, I asked, how about you come over for dinner with my parents sometime? I brought Olivia home for dinner. The second we walked through the door, my mom's eyebrows shot up to her hairline. Family background, personality, life story, she demanded. I want to hear it all. My son isn't going to marry just anyone. A sparrow can't marry a phoenix, you know. I got it. She was basically calling herself a phoenix. My parents and Olivia talked for over an hour. When Olivia told them about the car accident, my mom started crying. I've been a tough woman my whole life, my mom said, wiping her eyes. But I've never felt my heart break for someone the way it does hearing your story. Olivia's eyes welled up too. Ma'am, Olivia said softly, other people only see how handsome your son is. But I see the fine lines around your eyes and the gray hairs you earned raising him into the man he is. That was it. My mom was completely and utterly won over. My dad was still trying to hold out. Olivia turned to him. Sir, I never got to greet you properly at the hospital. Some people might say a man your age shouldn't be trying such dangerous stunts on a bike. They might say you deserve to get hurt. But what I see is a man who refuses to let go of his youth, even if his body doesn't always cooperate. My dad's eyes immediately turned red. Double kill. My mom nodded, completely satisfied. I won't interfere in your relationship, she declared. As long as Lucas is happy, that's all that matters. That was basically the official seal of approval. She had passed the test. My dad immediately grabbed a calendar off the wall. Well, if you two are serious, we'll need to pick an auspicious date for the wedding. This girl has spirit, just like I did at her age. And there we go. Dad was officially on board. I turned to look at my sister. The look she was giving Olivia was one of pure, unadulterated worship. You are a genius, sis, she mouthed. You have to teach me your ways. How do I get mom and dad to approve of my boyfriend? I need your help. She had sister-in-law down pat already. After that dinner, Olivia was practically glowing. Her model partner, Project, went into overdrive. She was in the kitchen before dawn, cooking up elaborate meals. A steady stream of gifts for every conceivable holiday started arriving at our house. She bought my mom an endless supply of designer bags and clothes, and fresh fruit was flown in and delivered to our door daily. I know you have money, I told her, but you really don't have to do all this. This level of affection was a little overwhelming. I called her. What you up to? In the background, I could hear the voice of a female narrator speaking with great passion. A virtuous partner, the voice said, unconditionally supports their man, fulfills his every need, understands his emotions, and stands silently and selflessly behind him. I'm studying a tutorial on how to be a good partner, Olivia replied sweetly. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt. The topic was certainly worth some research. I sent her a link. We're in last place. The campus forum was running its annual model couple poll. Olivia and I were sitting comfortably at the very bottom of the rankings. The reason given was that one partner exhibits an extreme case of being love-struck. On a scale of 1 to 100, they had somehow managed to deduct 170 points from our score. Our final score was -70, earning us the coveted last-place trophy. The poll's organizers justified it by saying they were simply following the current social trend. The trend being, apparently, that all hopelessly devoted people should be executed. Olivia was furious. Being devoted is the best quality a woman can bring to a relationship, she fumed. She turned to me, her face a mask of guilt. This is all my fault. I'm the reason we came in last. If you're angry, you can hit me. I don't mind the pain. As long as I can stay with you, that's all that matters. I just can't control how much I want to do things for you. It's my problem, I know. The campus was quiet in the dead of night, but Olivia was still whispering anxiously in my ear. I was getting tired of listening, so I leaned in and shut her up with a kiss. Her lips were sharp and beautiful. The world melted away until there was nothing but the sound of our breathing and the chirping of crickets in the grass. I just can't help myself. I want to do everything for you. My tall sister, Mia, came stumbling down the path, followed by her criminally handsome boyfriend, Liam. Mia laughed and threw herself into his arms. "Honey, let's kiss too." I could feel the warmth radiating off of Olivia beside me. I looked at my sister and her boyfriend, wrapped in each other's arms, and I couldn't help but smile. It looked like those two crazy kids were finally going to make it work. Olivia made a tisk sound, then pulled a portable hard drive from her pocket and tossed it to Mia. "What's this?" Mia asked. Olivia looked perfectly serene. "The Modern Woman's Advanced Guide to Being the Perfect Partner," she announced. "The complete 123-volume collection. Future sister-in-law, if you want to make things last with Liam, you should study this carefully." With that, she grabbed my hand and pulled me along. Mia just stood there, stunned, holding the hard drive. After a long moment, she finally yelled after our retreating figures. "Hey, Mom said you two have to come for dinner on Sunday." "Okay, we know," I yelled back. Olivia started walking faster, her eyes sparkling like stars. I wrapped my arm around her, pulling her close. The moonlight and starlight spilled down around us, casting everything in a soft, romantic glow. The air was filled with a sweet, rich scent, just like taro ice cream. The echoes of our past often dictate the language of our love. We learn to be too much or not enough, to please, to perform, to hide the parts of ourselves we believe are unlovable. This story is a quiet testament to a different kind of love, not one that demands you change, but one that creates a silence safe enough for you to hear your own voice again. It's about someone who doesn't try to fix the cracks in your foundation, but instead gently holds a light to them and calls them beautiful. Perhaps healing isn't a destination we arrive at, but a journey we take with someone who isn't afraid to walk through the ruins of our past, hand in hand, and help us believe in the home we can build together.